Hey, how are you doing? I just want to talk about how you can continue doing what you start from the ground up without losing your interest. That's one of your favorite things that you love to do. Firstly, people generally experience setback after the following steps. Like you take an opportunity to get to know the thing for some reason. And the more you learn it, the more attractiveness you realize in it. And in the meantime, you feel like doing that thing, and you actually start doing that to learn more about it. In this stage, you're just interested in it, but your state of mind is not still into it. So in the process of realizing the idealistic condition that you envision in your mind when you got to know that thing, you gradually come to be aware of the fact that you need to extreme boring repetitive basic work to bring yourself to idealistic condition. So and you realize how far it is to reach your idealistic condition that you imagine in your mind. So you will end up feeling pessimistic about the fact that you can't easily get the skill, and then you you finally decide to give up making effort to take a liking for it truly, and you finally make it rule yourself not to like it after all. So this is the flow of mental state from the moment that you get to know it to the moment that you experience setback. So firstly, I want to make sure the definition of loving to do. So the definition of loving to do is really different depending on the individual. In case of me, the definition of loving to do is like naturally coming to feel like doing it from the bottom of my mind, and want to keep doing that without caring about how many times I need to do it to master it. And there is completely no forcible factors in it. So, in conclusion, I personally think that the amount of time you need to reach this kind of mental state toward the thing that you start from the scratch is at least 3 years. So, you have to acquire basic skills for about 3 years, even though that is what you love to do. So, and whether you can keep doing it, even if it's really boring thing, or give up halfway within 3 years, will decide the outcome of whether you love to do or you hate it. So generally speaking, obviously it's not that easy to get used to doing what you start from the scratch with no experience and no knowledge. So you need a time to get used to it, and you need a time to practice more and more, and you need a time to make effort to get used to it. So in case of me, the amount of time that took me to slightly understand the whole picture of what I actually started from the scratch and be aware of the sense that I could do this with a small confidence was about 3 years. So for example, I started learning karate. I started practicing karate when I was 18 years old. But when I realized the whole picture of the karate technique and understood how I could improve my karate skill by myself, I was 21 years old. 21 years old. When I was 21 years old, I got a black belt, and I understood the real fun of practice karate. So this was actually the start line for me to practice karate. So I'm 36 years old. I'm 36 years old, and I still keep doing it because I love it. I love to do it. If I had given up doing karate when I had been 20 years old, I probably wouldn't have kept doing it until now. So the same is true for anything. In order to acquire the idealistic condition, you need to bring out your self-discipline. Self-discipline to keep practicing to learn the basic skill. That is, fundamental thing giving you pleasure and enjoyment that increase the feeling of love. And fundamentally, you just think that what kind of condition it is that makes you enjoy the thing the most from the bottom of your mind. That is undoubtedly why you can do it, and that is undoubtedly why you can get sufficient skill to do it, and that is undoubtedly when you realize your sense that you can do it. So, do you think you can get a certain mental satisfaction when you know you cannot do this? So probably everyone must feel frustration against the fact that they cannot do that. And they must feel like giving up halfway because they cannot do that. The condition that you can do it with confidence enhance your expectation to your potential. And you convert the feeling you have in this condition into the feeling of love, because you have an expectation that you get better and better at doing this in the future. So being able to do that with confidence is the primary condition that allows you truly love to do that. So, but the amount of time that we need until we truly love to do is different depending on in the individual. At any rate, you just keep doing what you start from the ground up without giving up until you come to love it, no matter how long it will take you. So having said that, it's not that easy, and it's quite hard for us to keep doing it with quite ambiguous objective that you love to do it. So a knack to keep making effort is just decide to do only what you feel like doing it, and only what you like to do, and only what you are curious about. So you must not what you don't feel like doing, even if it's really needed to get a certain skill to master it. So never ever have the sense of obligation to what you're doing. So do only what you feel like doing. At the moment you try to get things going systematically because you want to get better at doing that. Very, very soon, you're on the road to disaster. Like you end up giving up halfway because you rely too much on your reason. So it's like when you learn Japanese, it's like you start from reading a grammar book to learn everything systematically because you want to master it very soon. But I'm sure this will be definitely the cause of experiencing setback. So what I want to say is, like, if you want to learn Japanese, you should start from watching Japanese anime with English subtitle. So you have to take advantage of your curiosity if you want to continue doing something reasonably. And don't think how soon you get the skill. At the time you think this way, this is the proof that you try to make what you're doing obligatory. And that's not really good. That's no good, and you shouldn't care about it anytime. So if your aim is to take a loving for what you start from the scratch, you should avoid the way you becomes your mental burden, right? When you start doing karate, when I started doing karate when I was 18 years old, I only practiced round kick and backspin kick, and I ignored other important practices because I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to lose my interest in karate. So I only did what I liked to do until I came to love to do it. And after you love to do it, you gradually become aware of your consciousness and become aware of your desire that you want to place your skills systematically from the very basic to pursue perfection to it. So you don't have to be worried about the kind of things from the beginning. So just look back your history. Just look back your history. If you have a hobby that you love to do, you must have overcome that you couldn't do before in the past, and you finally could do it, and you finally came to love to do it. So even though it is your hobby, I think you need to make effort to truly love to do it.